Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to learn how to make this structured sleeve that you can see on the blouse. So if that's what you want to learn how to make for yourself, then keep watching this video till the very end and let's head straight to it. So you want to know that every design you see in fashion, in tailoring, in any dress came from a basic pattern. So firstly, you'll be needing your basic sleeve pattern. I went ahead to label front and back, and I'm also going to be marking out my center sleeve to make it visible so you guys can see it. Now, after doing this now, you want to know that when you're sewing a sleeve, like you sew up a sleeve, some part of the sleeve is going to be at the underarm. So for the sake of this tutorial, we do not need that part that is going to be at the underarm. So we're going to be taking it away. Alright. In order to do that, I'm going ahead to be marking 2.5 inches from this very point of my sleeve, like so. At this point, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so and hit the bell notification icon so you'll be the very first person to know when I post lovely tutorials like this. Also give this video a thumbs up and share it to other sewing platforms where you know it will be needed. So from that very 2.5 inches mark, I'm going to be ruling it down to the down part of my sleeve. Okay, so I want the line to be a straight line. I know it possibly might not be a perfect straight line, but I want it to be a straight line. So we'll have something like this. Next thing I'm going to do is to cut away these parts so we can work on the part of the sleeve that we need for this tutorial. So I'm going to have to cut away that part at the back and also that of the front. So this is the part we need. This is the sleeve we're using now. So this is what we need to achieve this structured sleeve. All right. Now, having done this now, we're going to be doing the next thing. At this point of this sleeve, we're going to be marking 2 inches here at the back, and same thing we're also going to be marking at the front. So when I got to marking that of the front, I decided to make it 2.5 inches. I'm also going to be increasing the back also by ½ inch. So it's same thing with the front, 2.5 inches for the back and 2.5 inches for the front at this very point of the sleeve. I also go ahead to use my ruler to square it down like so. I'll be using my marker to make it visible so you guys can see it clearly. Okay. So at this point, this is what we are having, right? I brought a fresh pattern paper and I went ahead to place this on top of the fresh pattern paper. And I'll be using my sellotape to hold it down at this point. Okay, so it doesn't move around. So having done that, the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to be marking the distance from this point to the center sleeve. You want to do this carefully because if you don't get this right, trust me, you're going to be having problems during this. It will not just align. You understand better as we go on. So I marked that of the back and I'm having 2 inches. I also go ahead to check that of the front. You want to do this carefully. Anyhow, you're going to mark it to be sure that it's accurate. Please do that. I went ahead to do that of the front and I'm having 1.8 inches. All right. Now that 2 inches is going to be the length of the line we are extending outwards on this part. Here, 1.8 inches. I'm going to be marking it like so. So using my ruler now, I'm going to be squaring a line from this point. Remember, the length of this line we are squaring is 2 inches and the length of this line we are squaring for the front is 1.8 inches. So here I'm also going to be squaring out this line. I actually want it to be a straight line. Like I said, it must not really be a perfect straight line, but let's a straight line to make your life easier when you're sewing this. So I make this a straight line. I'm also going to be squaring out this line also outwards to this point. So having done this now, I'm going to be closing up this point from that 2 inches, please. I'm also going to be closing up this point from the 1.8 inches. So at this point, this is what we have. Now I'm going ahead to use my scissors to cut this out like so. I have to label back so I know where is back and where is front. Please be sure you label so you don't take the back and sew to the front and the front and sew to the back. I had to bring this back and put it in place so I can mark the side, like I can trace out the sides of the sleeve. I didn't actually do that, so I had to bring it back so I can trace it out, please. And also the down part of it for the length. So I haven't done that. I took it out and I'm going ahead to be cutting this out like so right now. Please, if you haven't subscribed to this, please do want to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon so you'll be the very first person to know when we post lovely tutorials on this channel like this. Also give this video a thumbs up and also share it to other sewing platforms where you know it will be needed. So I labeled join at that point and I put an arrow at this part also. Okay, so I know where I'm going to be joining and where I'm going to be sewing, so I don't get confused. Trust me, you have to label your patterns. If not, at some point you might get confused and you probably might be doing the wrong thing out of frustration and tiredness because you can't even seem to place your hand on the right thing. So label your patterns so you don't get confused as you're sewing. I also went ahead to label here join and also drew an arrow facing this point to show that this is also the part I should be joining to the center line. And I cut out this part where the length of the sleeve stopped. So I'm going to be setting those two parts aside and we'll work on the center part of it. Now for the center part of it, you see those very two pointy edges, we don't want it. So I'm going to be curving it out. We want a rounded, curved something that is rounded. Okay, so we're going to be setting it out and I'm going ahead to also round curve this part like so. We do not want those pointy edges, so I'm going to be round curving it like so. And after doing that, we'll go ahead to cut this part out. I'm going to be using this blue paper for the center, so as to differentiate it from the other parts. All right, so you guys can see it clearly. I'm not going to be using white color. I'm going to be making sure the center is this very blue color, right? So I haven't done that now. We'll remove the pattern paper. So this is what the center piece looks like. I used my sellotape to hold the white paper and the blue paper together. All right, so this is what the center piece looks like. We'll go ahead to label front, back, please, and front. Please do well to label, like I always say, please do well to label. I'll set that aside and then we'll bring back this piece, these two pieces. I'm going to be joining them like so from the center. That place I marked join. So I went ahead to use my sellotape to join it. Okay, please, you want to lay more emphasis or focus on the part where you're joining to the center sleeve. That's the part where we marked or we drew the arrow facing towards the side to show we are joining it. Now for the joining, you want to start from the center. Make sure the center of the center piece and this other piece align very well. All right, then you go ahead to sew down the other part of it. So I'm going to be taking you guys through the process of the joining right now in this video. I actually cut out that part. I cut out is the length. I didn't cut it out during the pattern, so I noticed now and I had to cut it out. So I'm going ahead to join you guys. It should be more easier for you when you're sewing. So another thing you want to take note of is if your fabric is light, you want to put interface so it can stand. Not something very strong, just a simple interface or a kind of semi-soft interface that is going to help it stand. All right, something that also help you to move your arm, please. So at this point, we're going to have to join it and this is what it looks like. Now you want to know that this sleeve is a variation of a cap sleeve. So you're not joining all the way around your armhole. You're joining based on that very portion of the sleeve that we used to create this starting from the beginning, okay? Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.